Welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. With me, Owen James. We're back for a little bit on different platforms slightly. Look, it's been a pretty shitty few days. Thank you for your messages of support. It's been bad, real bad, over the last couple of days here. Had my phone stolen, had my bank card stolen. I've lost access to quite a lot of stuff, including my normal StreamYard. I've lost access to my emails, my Canva. So I'm trying to get all that sorted and back. So it's been a really crappy few days, and then a number of threats as well. So yeah, it's been a really shitty few days. That's why I had to just take some time away, get away from the camera, get away from this for a little bit. But look, you know what? Rangers don't help, do they? They don't help. I mean, look, they say that sport and that your hobbies should be your escape. That's what they say, shouldn't you? That you should be able to escape from the drudgery of normal life through what you do. But it's not a great place, is it? It's not a great place at all. Obviously, the Union Bears have called for a walkout at 55 minutes today during the St Johnstone game. I hope it's backed. I know for a fact there are some fans who've refused to walk out, saying they're going to get their money's worth. They're going to stay there till the end. They're backing the team. They're backing the manager. Well, if that's you, you're part of the problem. You're accepting the mediocre. You are a happy clapper. You are the one that is helping Douglas Park, helping Phillipe Clement to remain in position. Look, I mean, I won't pretend that it's just the manager. The manager is a fundamental part of what is wrong with this club. Of course he is. I mean, let's face it. Phillipe Clement is not the man. He is just not the man. And I think Patrick Stewart's statement the other day was an absolute cop-out. You know, Patrick Stewart came out and he spoke and he said that, that he was backing the manager. I think Patrick Stewart lost a lot of goodwill with that statement. I think, when he came into the job as CEO of Rangers, he had a lot of goodwill behind him. There was a lot of optimism for the future, a lot of optimism that he could put right the mistakes of the previous regimes. But saying that, straight away after that Dundee game, coming out after was another abject performance, 11 points from 33, probably, one of the worst away records in Scotland. 18 points going into the game against St Johnstone on Sunday behind Celtic, which is unforgivable for any Rangers manager after Beale was sacked being 7 and Gio sacked being 9. To come out and back your manager publicly like that is just a joke. I think Rangers fans wanted far more of decisive action, far more positive reaction from Clement towards Clement in terms of getting him out of the door. Now, how much of it is because we can't afford to sack him, I don't know, but there are ways round it. The club could have done that. There's ways to get him out without having to massively overpay him. You can put him on gardening leave, for example. Look, I'm not saying that if we had sacked him or if we did, put him out on gardening leave, we should replace him instantly with a new manager. I think it would, for me, it has to be an interim till the end of the season, and then you take stock at the end of the season. Stewart came out and said that he was going to put a root and branch overhaul of the footballing side of the operation. That's a cop-out. It's a cop-out to try and buy. I don't know why he's trying to buy time because, at the end of the day, this is getting critically bad. Now, look, Rangers will go into the next 3 games at home against St Johnstone, Aberdeen and Fraserburgh, and they'll win all 3. And it'll paper over the cracks, and you'll get the happy clappers and the accepted mediocres going, Clement's the man, he's the greatest manager ever, he's brilliant, back him, give him more time. Just showing how absolutely clueless they actually are and how little they understand about the game of football. You watch the team away from home especially, and there are no patterns of play. There is no style there. There is no heart there. There is no fight there. There is no passion there. There is just nothing there. It is genuinely awful. Now, yes, Rangers can get up for the odd game. They can get up for the game against Celtic. They can get up for the game against Spurs. And I've got no doubts that when we go down to Manchester on the 23rd, that they will get up for that game and they will put in a very, very good performance because it's Manchester United. They'll raise their game. But, that is not the problem. The problem is the bread and butter of the league. The problem is dropping points to Motherwell, to Dundee, to St Mirren. That is the issue here. Now, Phillipe Clement talks about competing with Celtic constantly, and he uses the excuse about, we can't compete with Celtic because of the fact they have a vastly superior checkbook to us. They have more money to spend than us, X, Y, and Z. Yet he doesn't seem to see that applies the other way too, that when we play the likes of St Mirren, Motherwell, Dundee United, we are like Celtic to them. We have a vastly superior budget to them. Yet he doesn't seem to think that it applies to us in that aspect. The fact that our squad is worth somewhere in the region of 8, 10, 12 times what their squads are worth. They can't afford to spend 3 million, 4 million on a player. We can. Bayrami cost us 3.84 million. something that clubs like, St Johnstone, Dundee could never do. Yet, in our squad worth, I think transfer market have got at 80 million, whatever you think of that. And you look at the likes of some other clubs like Ross County, it's about 8 million. Dundee, it's about 10, 12 million. Aberdeen even is a lot less than us. I think it's 15. There's, Clement needs to realise that the pish that he comes out with about, it's Celtic, we're playing in a different league to them. Well, no, we're not when we play other teams. And the problem is not at this moment in time beating Celtic, because we've done that. The problem is at this moment in time going to St Mirren, going to Motherwell, going to Dundee, going to Dundee United and winning games. That's the problem. And, there's no way on this earth that a team like Rangers, with the budget they have, with the players that we have, should be struggling to beat the likes of Dunfermline, or not Dunfermline, Dundee, sorry, the likes of St Mirren, we probably would struggle to beat Dunfermline at the moment. But you know what I mean? It is absolute pish that the guy comes out with, and he's and look, as much as I hate Chris Sutton, and I completely fundamentally disagree with Chris Sutton, one thing that Chris Sutton did say the other day that I actually agreed with him, I was actually shocked that I agreed with him, was that he called him the Belgian waffler. And he'll keep on waffling his way through, and it's embarrassing. And I agree, with Chris Sutton, it is embarrassing. And what's even more embarrassing is we've got a Celtic fan telling us it's embarrassing. You've only got to look as well at the comments you get on here, on our TikTok, on our Twitter or wherever, from Celtic fans going, you can't sack him, he's your best manager ever, blah, blah. That's exactly showing us why this man has to go. They love him because the longer we have him in charge, the further they get ahead of us. Brendan Rodgers, he's probably laughing, absolutely pissing himself laughing now, as is Callum McGregor, absolutely crying, laughing at the situation at Rangers, because it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Clement proves, game in, game out, that the guy is not up to this job. He's tactically inept. He cannot make a substitution at the right time. He makes the wrong substitutions. His team selections are inexplicable. I mean, what gets me is the fact that, at one point we were using Hamza and Danilo, and it was really working, and it was being positive, and it was actually developing the play and looking a lot better. And there was a little bit of progress there, but then he just abandons the idea completely and won't do it. So again, it makes zero sense. So he is just a perplexing individual. But like I said, it's not just Phillipe Clement that is the issue. The issue goes right to the board level. There is a massive issue at board level. 3 trophies in 13 years is not good enough for a club like Rangers. It really genuinely isn't. The Park family, who are, as I've said on a number of occasions, a cancer that is destroying our club, need to be torn out and got rid of. The board as a whole need to go. If this board are not prepared to invest the money, to push this club forward and take this club to the next level, then they must go. They must find someone to come in and buy the club and take the club over outright and get rid of people like Walhart, like Halstead, like Graham Park, who is more interested in a buffet than football, like Douglas Park, like John Bennett, and I can't remember the guy's name, Johnston, is it Alistair Johnston? People like that need to be gone. They need to be gone from this club. It is utterly unacceptable what is happening at this football club. And look, I absolutely 1,000,000% agree with what was said by the Union Bears. The Union Bears are absolutely spot on. Now, look, are the Union Bears right all the time? No, of course not. Is anyone? No one is. But the statement they made is 1,000,000% correct. Our club is being destroyed by incompetence and a board that has lost all respect for the supporters who built this legacy. Correct. The board have seemingly forgotten that this club is of the fans. It is without the fans, this club is nothing. It is not their club. It is our club. They are custodians for a short time. The time for action is now. For years, the board and the club's owners have shielded themselves behind the failures of the management teams, using them as scapegoats to mask their own lack of vision, leadership, and respect for us. We cannot stand by any longer. The playing squad, particularly the senior players, must also show us some of the responsibility. They look set to see off yet another manager, consistently falling short of expectations that come with wearing the Rangers jersey. Their lack of accountability on the pitch mirrors the failings in the boardroom. Completely correct. The likes of James Tavernier, for example, serial loser, serial failure, serial virus dragging the club down. He is part of the issue as well. While the dismissal of Phillipe Clement is necessary, it is not enough. The deeper issue still remains: a board that has failed to match the ambition, pride, and standards of our club. They have squandered opportunities, mismanaged resources, and disrespected the support. Correct. The removal of Phillipe Clement has to be now. It has to come, because if it does not, this club will fall further and further behind. If you back Phillipe Clement and say give him more time, you really have lost the plot. The loyalty of Rangers support should not be treated as a free pass for failure. We are lifeblood of this club, and we cannot sit back while the board tarnishes its legacy. The time for excuses is over. It's time for accountability, transparency, and leadership worthy of Rangers, and obviously therefore then to walk out on 55. So if you do go to the game today, please walk out on 55. I would if I was there. Right, look, this club needs to be massive. I mean, I'm not being funny, but it needs to be torn apart. It needs to be ripped down and started over again from the top to the footballing level as well. It is an embarrassment at this moment in time. It is embarrassing. It is broken. It is disgraceful. It has a manager who is incompetent, a board who are incompetent, and a set of players who do not give an absolute toss, bar a couple of them, say Hamza, Raskin. I would perhaps excuse from that at this moment in time, but the vast majority of them don't give a stuff, and it needs to change, and a lot needs to change, and it needs to start with, first of all, the removal of the manager, and then the changing of the guard at the top of the club. Let me know your thoughts, feelings on this. Guys, it's a sad situation. It really is a sad situation. Please hit the like, sub, and remember always, we are the people.